Alrighty, you guys, so let's talk about the CVT in this 2021 Chevrolet Spark. So, those of you guys that have watched the previous videos, you guys know that I'm not particularly a fan of it, and additionally also, I don't particularly think it drives well. And there could actually be a few potential reasons as to why. I noticed that this vehicle has a very odd hesitation when coming from a stop, and additionally also at speeds of like 35 miles an hour. And you have to have your foot constant on the gas to notice it, and it has to be from a complete stop to notice it as well. Well, lo and behold, I've made a discovery. And I realized that this is a Jatco CVT7, which in this case has a 2-speed gearbox. So I came from a complete stop. The transmission is over 70 degrees. There's a shift and a bump in RPMs, which is a little bit weird because normally when you upshift, the RPM should go down. Now, it was a bit interesting and it just downshifted right there because it always felt like the CVT was lurching me forward and I couldn't figure out as to why. And so, come to find out, this has a 2-speed CVT, and the transmission will lock the torque converter between 8 and 18 miles an hour. Now, above 27 miles an hour, the transmission will shift into second gear if it finds that the throttle input is appropriate to do so, which it just did now. So, in this instance, when you're accelerating and you're accelerating harder, you will notice a mechanical shift. And I thought this was a hesitation due to the CVT, just basically possibly being worn out. It is a loaner, but it is normal behavior. Do I find it interesting? Yeah. Do I like it? No. Because realistically, I know what they're trying to do is maximize the torque off the low end because this engine is so small, and then also make sure that the cruising RPM is appropriate so that way you can get maximum fuel economy. The issue with that is of course with it being a Jatco CVT, the reliability of it is very compromised. So it's weird. I mean, realistically, the CVT might last a while if you service it appropriately since it is not a sealed system. But I will say, can't say I'm a huge fan of it. Definitely go for a 5-speed manual if you can find one of these used. It doesn't drive poorly. I mean, I told you guys before that it drives like crap, but it doesn't drive like crap for the kind of car it is. You gotta remember when you are driving bigger SUVs and go down to a smaller car, you will have a rougher ride. So in this case, it doesn't drive too poorly when you put it in the grand scheme of things, but do I particularly like it? No. Additionally, this shift will only be noticed coming from basically a stop. It will not happen in this regard now that the transmission it really won't downshift to first gear unless you're coming basically to a stop. Chevy reprogrammed that with the earlier version of Spark because they would actually shift down and then afterwards it would prematurely just break the belt. So the behavior of this CVT is that for one, it will try to keep your RPMs constant and low. That's one thing that I guess I like about it, but on the same token, it doesn't really like to let the engine breathe or rev. It basically it has a belt wrapped around its neck. And then afterwards, when it does upshift, you get a little bit of relaxation, basically loosening a belt hole, but then afterwards, it kind of does the same thing again, and then you still need to push the car harder anyway. So it's basically like it's trying to accelerate off a dead gear. So it's not particularly a huge liking of mine. It's not horrible, but it's not great either. Now, one thing you'll also notice is that you will have simulated shift patterns when you are accelerating harshly. Now, one thing about this though is that you do still feel that mechanical shift, and what's cool is they kind of oriented it in with the shift pattern that the CVT does. So as you can see, CVT is doing its mechanical little shifty thing, or its little fake shifty thing. Shift, that one was the real one. And then it's basically like you feel kind of just this little nudge, and then afterwards it'll make its way into the top gear ratio. So I just figured I would share that with you guys because honestly, I learned something new. I realistically thought it was a simple CVT design, but I, for some apparent reason, was noticing that weird hesitation, and I was like, something is either wrong, like it's slipping, or it's just not acting right. And come to find out, it's shifting normally. It's just I'm not used to it, so I thought something was wrong. But nothing's wrong with the CVT for now. It does stutter a little bit when the torque converter engages, so it could be due to some motor mounts since people push the piss out of rental cars. Or it could be the CVT torque converter, it just needs a service, but right now it is operating as intended. I just really want my Bolt back. I know the part's on back order and there's a light on the horizon, but I really want my Bolt back because I'm not gonna lie, I miss not paying for gas. I mean, granted, I pay for gas on 2 other cars, but I miss not paying for gas most of the time because I can just charge for free. So that's that though, but I just wanted to share this with you guys, and Bolt will be coming back at some point. I've got some more car reviews coming up. I've got my other car coming up and it's almost ready from Arizona, and I still have to get you guys a video on the 99 Camry because it is going in to be repainted. So I will catch you guys soon, and please be safe, and thanks for watching.